This was the beginning of what's become a little bit of a theme for Wavetrain in terms of clients coming to us and saying, surprise us. And once we had this concept, it was just like it was made for this cinema. And now other clients seeing this design, even a decade later, are saying, well, if you produced that, then obviously you could do something else for us of this sort of level.
It shows what can be achieved when the trust is placed in Wavetrain at both the design stage and the project implementation stage. Having that trust from the client and in the Wavetrain team always produces an optimum result.
But from an engineering technical point of view, the hardest part of the project was that the ceiling height in here is quite low. We had to maximise every millimetre of space in the room. The resolution to that was actually to manufacture the chairs at the front of the room 25mm lower than normal, and then manufacture the chairs at the back of the cinema 25mm higher than normal. That creates a 50mm difference in the height between the front row and the back row. The cinema seating is from Fortress Seating. They're a company in America that custom manufacture a lot of their chairs. So we've actually specified the depth of the chair cushion. The other thing which also helps with that is that we've got day beds in the middle of the cinema here. So your head's automatically down a little bit lower, which means you've got clear sight lines to the screen. And that just makes this room work, and it couldn't work any other way. If you have a look at the cinema room, there's actually tiny little changes in level all through the ceiling of the cinema, creating sort of optical illusions. It's a simple trick, but it works really, really well. To create this sculptural aspect that we've got really does take up a bit of space. We wouldn't have been able to do it unless the room was as wide as this room actually is. The reason why we need that width is because behind these curtains, which are acoustically transparent, there's a whole lot of acoustic treatments. The curtains then hang over the top of that. We've then got lighting both up above the curtains and also in the back of this sculptural section, lighting back to the curtains. In terms of this being stable enough to support this and make it last over time, there's an entire welded steel structure in this shape, which is then bolted to the floor and bolted to the ceiling, holding it. This air conditioning system was really tight, so we've only got 200mm here, but we've got a supply air duct in the floor. And the way we've done that is to actually sculpt the ducting through the actual floor and line the structure that's in place, including the concrete slab, with an absorptive material so that we don't get condensation inside the slab. But the most important part of the air conditioning system is that it's inaudible. The noise floor of this room is exceptionally low, and a big part of that is the air conditioning system. The components are integrated into the bar at the back of the cinema here. So we've got a cupboard door, which has got a rack that we can roll out and get to the surface. And the rack is ventilated. So we've got class AB 500-watt monoblock amplifiers driving the front of the cinema. They generate a bit of heat. So ventilation is a big part of what we do in cinema design. In this cinema, we've actually got an airlock design, so you can see there's big sort of commercial raven seals that the doors shut up against. These two doors both form what's called an airlock. So the two doors as one system matches the entire structure. Otherwise, whatever is the weakest point is actually going to be the sound isolation for the entire room. This cinema has a masking screen, so the masking actually moves from 16:9 out to 235:1. It's called constant height, and this is what happens at a cinema. When the movie's wider, you'd have the screen move out and fill out that entire image. A lot of content, sport for instance, would be potentially 16:9, and having that hard black edge to the image changes your perception of contrast. It references the black on the edge of the screen and makes everything that your eye is seeing blacker than it actually is.
Everything is considered in the room. The engineering of the room, the technology systems, everything works as a whole, and that is critical to deliver a cinema of this calibre.
I wouldn't change a thing in this room, honestly. To change anything would be to ruin the overall design. It's like a painting. You take one line or one segment out of a painting, that painting is probably no longer going to be balanced. This whole room is a piece of art for me.